what the fuck happenings here in Mendham. Fuck YouTube. Yeah. Not much happening. So yeah, sorry. Yeah, really. Oof. Yeah, I mean, I'm working on different things here and there. This message board thing, and what else did I start doing? Start some other project, and yeah, so there's stuff happening. It is all kind of dismal in terms of the real depth, of my viewership. It's a little disappointing. But you sort of got the feeling that was happening over time. I do offend an awful lot of people, I suppose, and so, yeah, I'm not very likable. And it's probably more. It's probably even more to it than just that, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's just humbling, and it's depressing, but not much you can do about that. So the cat has some sort of respiratory problem, and might be on his last. I just don't have any courage for this stuff anymore. I can't, just can't watch anything die anymore. Just can't do it. Had my fill of this madhouse. Yeah. And then facing your own little, your last pooing moments. It is just, the grimace. Yeah, I just don't care for any of this. I don't. It's a lousy game to be playing. So anyway, I really just don't have any specific news. It's just these general things. So I'm working on the physics thing, and I'm going to start trying to write up some stuff regarding rational platform planks for a decent civilization. The fairness first idea. And really, if you keep your eye on that ball, fairness. Can't make too many mistakes. It really seems to me that if you try to make things fair, you probably will be able to do it. It's just not that hard to do that with the synthetic elements of society. And even if nature's unfair, you can compensate for a lot of that too. Doesn't really require. I mean, obviously you can't just instantly cure the unfairnesses of disease and disability and all that kind of stuff, but take the edge off of it, the worst of it. Anyway, and so a couple of modern mystic videos I responded to that just get back to the subject of what people do focus on and how they don't focus on anything, all the good stuff that's there to be focused on, the important things they don't focus on. If there's something unimportant to focus on, they focus on it. And it just seems a theme now, it's kind of sitting here in all of these subjects, is that it's that focus problem. So much that's wrong with physics is this obsession, this obsessive focus on anything bizarre. And it's like that in the news. Go find the craziest fucking thing that somebody did today and make commentary about that. So what did 1 or 2 or 4 in 400 million people do today? And that's the news. So the news isn't the regular function. The news is the completely bizarre and irregular function. And that's a problem. And then this philosophical thing, the big picture, is just the silly attachment and the superficiality of our subjective interest, passion, and the idea that people can live for such crap. It's just, and in the face of, this kind of, the horror that's really there. If you have to watch it, if you have to see it, it's there to be seen. The suffering. I don't know how people, work in emergency rooms and stuff, how they see that every day and it just doesn't wipe them out. But see, that's their entertainment in some way. Somehow they have converted that horror into a game that somehow is interesting. How much torture will I witness today? It's some kind of competition. I just don't know how they don't internalize it. How they don't see it happening to somebody else and then imagining it happening to themselves and saying, fuck, I don't want that to happen. I don't know how it doesn't scare them. I guess that's part of my humility for this week is just the realization of how I have lost a measure of courage. I just I have to take a lot of deep breaths just to get through the day, and the will isn't strong enough to create enough psychobabble bullshit to say keep fighting, and but there's no real choice. There's no easy out, and there's no that we have. It's either physically difficult or psychologically difficult. I mean, you could say that physically, jumping off of a building is easy. I mean, the act is easy. You're never going to know what hit you, in a sense. It's the process of your leaving consciousness will be quick. But the act psychologically just seems violent and horrible and painful. It just has this grotesque appearance of it that's just really difficult not to see. To say that, no, it's just an illusion. It's just a wrong idea in your head. And you can sort of think of that way about bullets. Bullets are a little bit vague just because, you can imagine the decisiveness of it in one respect, but I've seen things shot, living creatures, and, right between the eyes, and they just look at you and say, oh, I can't do language anymore, but I'm still alive. I mean, they're still alive looking at you. Yeah, they're not the same, but they're still there. It's a spooky fucking thing to see. So yeah, I mean, I just But anyway, I don't want to get into a whole conversation about that. But it is a conversation probably worth having somewhere. But it's. I guess now that I'm not on YouTube, I can do that. So, maybe I should indulge in some of that. But who needs? I just don't need to. I don't need any trouble. I already got enough troubles. I don't need extra troubles. So anyway, everything's just very not suitably certain. Future's getting blurry, and even this whole thing of getting older, your future becomes blurry. Your health becomes blurry. Everything becomes blurry, and it's a harder environment to live in when you can't just go to sleep and be certain of what the world's gonna be when you wake up. So, yeah, so anyway, I'm just a little bit neurotic at the moment, and maybe psychotic. Yeah, maybe. I'm just troubled. I'm uncomfortable. More uncomfortable than usual in some very deeply emotional ways. That border on some, like, terrified or something. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah, it's not panic, but it's a kind of terror. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know if there's much news. But speaking of terror, fake Sagan, because there's, I saw, I haven't been watching anybody's, I've just sort of decided, yeah, I'm just not going to waste time with the pointless kind of drama. Yeah, I just don't think me and fake Sagan have anything to talk about, really. I mean, he's this, this whole, whatever it is, unpolitics. I don't even know what it is. This whole philosophy of totally impractical solution to every political problem, and then the whole Christianity thing, like, the silliest solution to the human problem ever contrived. Let's do that some more. I mean, we've only watched it catastrophically fail in the world. Whew. Yeah, we need more of that bullshit. Yeah, I don't, not much to talk about. Well, anyway, he's getting a new camera, right? And it just seemed kind of funny to me, just because, but it's always, stuff like that always seems funny to me when somebody buys something that I just say, oh, that's just a preposterous waste. A $300 camera. I mean, just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, phones have pretty good HD. I I just don't get it. And, unless you're really going to make some kind of video production, yeah, what's the point? And I don't even think it's going to be practical for his purposes anyway, because the whole complaint was that he doesn't have enough computer for certain things, and it just seems to me that you still don't have enough computer to be uploading and downloading HD files, and you certainly can't edit them. They're just brutally obnoxious, unless you got the hardware for that. But anyway, whatever. Doesn't, businesses of mine. I don't care. Yeah. But anyway, so he's supposed to be making real videos, and that'll somehow make a big difference somehow. And even those lines are so blurred. It obviously makes less of a difference now than it ever did, in a sense, because you can see that even stuff like the drunken peasants, the little tiny icons of people. It's like you don't even have to do any of this video thing anymore. You just have to have some kind of avatar to represent somebody, and that would be enough. I guess mainly because it is so much less personal and so much more of a show, and so it's just characters in a show. So I could almost go back and do some, my original videos were bottles and stuff, and just paint a face on them, have them do the talking. Back to go do that again. Yeah, why not, right? But yes, I just don't have the humor for that anymore. I just can't be bothered being deliberately entertaining. Funny. It seems like way too much work. So yeah, I just do my stuff, and whatever. I just try to say my piece as clearly and concisely as possible, and leave it. That's all you can do. You just make the argument and say, yeah. I'm just, some of the political stuff is just running through my head, because so many of these things are just so stupid. And there's stuff that it's already been talked to death, and the fact that it just the conversation doesn't go anywhere. Like people think these, it's like the whole idea of Trump saying, okay, the way we get the Mexicans to pay for the wall is to have a 20% tariff on goods. And he thinks, who's going to pay that? The businesses aren't going to pay it. Mexico's not going to pay it because Mexico is just going to increase prices. So the American businesses are going to pay it, and then they're going to make the consumers pay it. Because it's just a tax on doing business. And so a tax on doing business just ends up being a tax on consuming what business produces. So the consumers will pay the tax. So you're going to pay for the wall. And the tricky part is you're going to do it this way that's probably just going to cause so much waste. You're going to unemploy Mexicans, which might not be a great idea. You're going to make a bunch of investments that business made in Mexico no good anymore, and those investments will be ruined. They'll close the plant, so to speak. And that means they have to rebuild somewhere else, and they have to do that with your money. I mean, they're not going to do it with their money. And that's going to be expensive. And they're certainly not going to be too interested in doing a whole lot of investment in America because Americans want to make more money. So they're probably going to say, there might be a temporary increase in employment in America, but that the permanent truth will be they're going to find a place overseas. So all you'll do is sort of give China more business and unemploy the Mexicans, who probably are more likely to be able to speak English. More likely to do rational business. I mean, the Chinese do very good stuff, but it is quite funny that they apparently don't have anybody in China who can speak English. It's like they don't even have I could imagine they could just pay one guy, like all the companies could agree, let's just hire one American for $35,000 a year. He doesn't have to get much, and he doesn't even have to know much Chinese. They just have to be able to hear send some pictures. Like, we wanted to say this. How do we say that without sounding stupid? Because in this battery thing, right? It says forbids to invert. I mean, they melted that in the plastic. Okay, now it's one thing when the instructions are silly. Like walk outside and wonder at the fruit. It'll say that on instructions for a watch. And you're just like, how did they come up with that, right? But they melted this in plastic. I mean, I just think before you melt it into the plastic, maybe they should be able to find some guy who can say, nobody in America says something like forbids to invert. Those three words put together never have been spoken, never been written in America in all of its history. Forbids to invert. Never happened. So we don't want to melt that into plastic because that's absolute rubbish. And so we got to do better than that. Almost anything's better than that. Maybe it is forbidden to invert. Don't put the batteries in upside down. See, that's too many words. See, I guess they want it simpler than that. But anyway, it's just kind of funny that this is the way the world's working, and it actually works. And that somehow this makes any sense to anybody. I mean, I got this flashlight today from China. 42 cents. No, battery not included, but not really obscenely bright. 42 cents. 42 cents. It came in a packaging. Came in a box. Okay, with with package. 42 cents. Now, obviously the world doesn't work. I mean, obviously something's completely fucked up, so I can't send a letter for 42 cents. And somehow the mailman put this in my mailbox. So somehow the post office can't possibly be getting more than 42 cents. Like all the money. They're getting all the money. And the guy from China just said, send it to him for nothing. I'll pay for it. No, there's all kinds of rackets going on. So anyway, I wonder if little Trumpy will fix any of that. But anyway, it's just so stupid. I mean, he's an idiot, and it is just going to be just so bad because he's going to make America bankrupt again. I mean, he's just going to bankrupt us, just like he did his casino businesses and everything. He's going to fail. He's going to fail, colossally fail, and some of the failure might be hard to fix. It's going to be expensive failures, half-built walls and such, a bunch of investment, a bunch of people going out to do all this engineering and all this crap, and brick one will never get laid. We're just going to get fucked. Yeah. Raped. But the bricks won't be. Anyway. Yeah, so no, I'm just very unenthusiastic, and I'm just trying to grind myself through my life at the moment, and that's all it is. It's just a grind. So I'll try to rise above that at some point here, get a little more passionate. But yeah, I'm just personally, I'm done. I'm cooked, fried. I just, the wall of stupidity is just so frickin' monstrous, and I've just, I'm just so sick of climbing. But anyway, like I said, it's just probably having a bad week. Probably be okay later, or I'll just be back to whatever I was. I'll try to get, sometimes it's just the mood thing. Sometimes psychosis comes to visit for a week, and sometimes it comes to visit for 10 years. Hopefully this will just be a short visit, and I can go about my thinking I'm doing something business again. So anyway, I mean, I really do enjoy the physics, to tell you the truth. I mean, as much as it's a terrible, obnoxious, blah, 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 it's just very interesting to analyze, just because the more you dig at it, the more you pick at it. It's, it is really just so, it is like the first realization that, oh my God, I guess when they first started thinking about evolution, it just really did break everything, because everybody was saying, when they first found out that maybe the world is, billions of years old, that, the geology has been doing this, that the mountains rose, all of this stuff actually happened over a long, long period of time. It's just such a change. And I sort of have the same sense here, is this is just such a different, the reality is so much different than what they're so invested in all of the cartoon characters they have placed in this reality. The flood story, and the parting of the sea, and Lazarus, and all these little just silly stories, and that's all they are. And physics has just built the entire subject. The whole story is these silly stories, and the truth just has nothing to do with that crap. So anyway, something like that. So, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else to report on. I have to anyway. Yeah. So, till the next time, and such, and so forth and whatnot.